We have a new turn in the wheel of the slow motion pardon that Donald Trump is going to give to Ghislaine Maxwell, where we have a child sex trafficker and good friend of Donald Trump being pardoned by a adjudged sex abuser. It's gotten so bad that Donald Trump needs to have a convicted child sex trafficker vouch for him. That's how bad things are right now as he tries to squeeze Ghislaine Maxwell and Ghislaine Maxwell tries to squeeze him in order to exonerate him in the Epstein scandal. And we have new reporting now about the release of audio and video tapes that Donald Trump thinks is going to help him, that have been conjured up and manufactured by his team. Ghislaine Maxwell's willingness to participate in this conspiracy of cover-up and try to, quote unquote, vouch for Donald Trump's character. You know, things are going poorly for you when you need a Ghislaine Maxwell to vouch for your character to the American people and get you out of the cover-up mess. I got the new reporting on Michael Popok. You're on Legal AF YouTube channel. Hit the free subscribe button. We're just trying to match our viewership and our subscriber base. You can help us do that for free. All right. So 2 weeks ago, Todd Blanche was sent by his boss to go meet with one of his buddies, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer, David Marcus from Miami. They had a long, I am sure, based on my 35 years of experience, I am sure they had a long conversation in advance, and he knew exactly what Ghislaine Maxwell was going to say, which is anything, to get out of her 20-year conviction for not only being in a conspiracy to traffic girls and other human beings for sex, but to participate in that depraved behavior. Never lose sight of that. She also was convicted of actually participating in sexual abuse of girls and women. Okay, that's who we're talking about. I want to make sure we're all on the same page at least so that we have the same set of facts that we are reasoning from. Okay, he went up after that phone call. We call that a proffer in the business. The lawyer says, this is what my client's going to say. Todd Blanche says, that sounds good to me. What they want her to say, and what she's obviously said, is that Donald Trump was not involved with raping girls and sexually abusing women. And she'll say she never saw it. Now, think about, in terms of bias or character, think about Ghislaine Maxwell as a character reference for you. She is a convicted child sex trafficker. She will say anything. She's looking at the remainder of a 20-year sentence in prison. She will say anything to get out. And the other person, which was her co-conspirator, is dead. This is not a high level of trust and veracity if you're a witness, right? But to the government who's looking for a Trump government that's looking for anything to feed to the MAGA base and to Americans, to try to anesthetize them so they don't recognize what Donald Trump is doing, which is negotiating with a child sex trafficker in order to extricate himself from this political firestorm. So she's going to say that. 12 hours of testimony resulted only after she got immunity. So there's three components of the bargain that obviously was promised by Trump administration to Ghislaine Maxwell through her lawyer. 3 components, right? Let's watch them. Let's go through them, each one easy. 1, immunity. She got immunity. It's called Queen for the Day. It's a terrible name, but that's what it is. She's been treated like royalty, so it makes sense. Queen for the Day. She can say anything as long as she doesn't lie, and she won't be prosecuted related to it. She got that. Second, she wanted to be moved from a minimum security prison in Florida to a low security prison, celebrity prison, camp in Texas. Number 2 came true. That's the second part of this bargain. The third part is the pardon. And that's what we're watching right now. And in order to get there, the Trump administration has to release these tapes, these video and audio recordings of the interview. I wouldn't call it a deposition, although I think she was sworn under oath, of the interview of Ghislaine Maxwell with Todd Blanche. Now, let me just remind people about that. Todd Blanche had no role in the prosecution of Ghislaine Maxwell. Obviously, he was not the prosecutor. The prosecutor was James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey. She was fired 3 weeks before. So there's another step in the conspiracy. Get rid of the prosecutor and her team that know everything about Ghislaine Maxwell's case. So you're in the room. If you're Todd Blanche, you say, well, I'm going to catch her in a lie. How are you going to catch her in a lie if you don't have the person next to you who actually prosecuted her and knows the evidence? So they did that intentionally to make him willfully blind. Blanche. Now he comes out of that 12 hours over 2 days where over 100 other people were mentioned, not named Donald Trump, we heard. And he says, I'll one day get around to releasing the notes. And the only way they were ever going to release the notes is if it was positive for Donald Trump. Otherwise, we would never see this would never see the light of day. So once I saw in the last day that they've announced they're thinking about releasing the tapes and the audio and the video of her interview, yeah, they're not. That was a trial balloon to see what the market, the public market would react, how the public market would react to that. They're going to release these because I am sure, and this is other reporting that's out there, that she said a version of the following. Donald Trump was not on the island. Donald Trump did not have young girls around him. Donald Trump could not have known about Jeffrey Epstein's dark side. It was hidden. The message in the book about the birthday card, it's either it wasn't him, that would be strange, or the birthday card message in the book that was on the Wall Street Journal cover, that was an innocent reference to other things, not pedophilia. And I never saw Donald Trump ever engage in any inappropriate sexual conduct. It's going to be some version of that. I said that 2 days ago. Now the new reporting is it's going to be a version of that. Of course, she needs to say that. And that is her key to the prison door to get out. She has the keys in her pocket. She has to exonerate and vouch for Donald Trump. So now we're back where we started on the hot take. She's got, you got a sexual predator who's vouching for a sexual predator. That's how low Donald Trump has sunk, if that's possible. So what happens next? They're going to release the tapes. I'll get a copy of them. I'll go through them. I'd be shocked if it's not some version of what I just said. Or they would never release these tapes. It's obvious. And then from there, with the Supreme Court case of hers pending, Donald Trump's going to say some version of the following, so get ready. 1, he has grave doubts about Maureen Comey, James Comey's daughter, and believes she was a part of the deep state and prosecuted as a scapegoat Maxwell, suggesting that she was a victim. Some version of that, completely ignoring the jury verdict 9-0 beyond a reasonable doubt, proving the crime against her with 1,000 victims. That's the first thing he's going to say. The second thing he's going to say is, so she was persecuted. The second thing he's going to say is, she told the truth to my lawyer with great courage. She was given complete immunity. I don't know what the courage was. He's already denied that he was involved with switching her to the a luxurious prison camp in Texas. We know he knew all about that. That was part of the reward. He's then going to say there's complicated legal issues up at the United States Supreme Court, and on balance, I'm going to release her. I'm going to shave off the last 10 years or commute her sentence or give her clemency or a pardon. That is what we're about to watch. So why don't we just cut to the chase and get there already? One of the reasons we're not there already, and Donald Trump's trying to build this case to exonerate her, is because MAGA in Congress is worried that if he does that, pardons her, it'll be political suicide for them. Because every candidate against MAGA in the midterms is going to pin this on MAGA, that they allowed their fearless leader, the moral leader of their party, to pardon a convicted child sex trafficker. So that's been the only delay. If MAGA was either silent leaders or didn't care, he would have already pardoned her. He's just trying to calculate the political calculus if this helps him or hurts him. He's a short-termer, despite his threats. He's leaving in, it's not short enough, but he's leaving in 3.5 years. And so he's trying to figure out how he can get out. He has immunities. There's no liability for him granting a pardon. It's just the timing of it. It's the when, not the if at this point. And we're going to have to continue to put pressure on elected officials and on Donald Trump and hold them accountable when they do immoral, illegal, disgusting things. The fact that I'm even talking about a president of the United States negotiating with a convicted child sex trafficker, first time in DOJ history, a DOJ senior leader, number 2 in the department, went to go meet directly and do an interview with a convicted child sex trafficker. The fact that I have to form that sentence tells you all you need to know about the depravity of MAGA and that party. I saw today the New York Times talking about, Donald Trump speculating that J.D. Vance may carry the mantle of MAGA and be the MAGA. Good, but this is MAGA. This, you have to take it, the good with the bad, and there is no good. Or as Tom Tillis just recently said about somebody, it checks all the boxes, and all the boxes are bad. Remember that. And remember to stay together with us here on Legal AF. Hit the free subscribe button. Until my next report, I'm Michael Popok.
I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.